Welcome to Front Range, Fort Collins, Colorado, Moby Arena for an annual whiteout game as the Utah State Aggies take on Colorado State. Hi everybody, I'm Trey Bender alongside Blaine Fowler. There have been some ups and downs for the Aggies and Rams this season. The hallmark has been rebounding and defense, though. The question, will the shots fall?
Yeah, these are two teams offensively, they're perimeter oriented. So you got to make shots to win if that's your game offensively.
Jalen Moore, an all-conference candidate, he's key to the Aggies' success this season.
Yeah, one of the toughest matchups in the Mountain West. At 6'9", he's post-size, but he has guard skills. He leads this team in scoring. He's really picked it up in conference play, averaging 17.8 points a game.
Our lineups look this way. Utah State, second straight start for Quinn Taylor. Lou Evans cleared to play, though, after concussion symptoms. And the Rams, John Gillen, a clutch performance late in games, one of the top free throw shooters in America. An intriguing matchup here in Fort Collins.
It really is, and we're waiting to see which team is able to knock down outside shots, because these teams depend on being able to move the basketball and to get open shots and then knock those shots down to win.
Moore to jump it against Daniels. Daniels wins the tip, and the Rams have first possession. A team that Larry Eustachy says he believes in their confidence. Not quite at the level yet with the experience and the poise, but he thinks this will be a really good team at the end of conference season.
He's really high on his young guards, and there were a lot of questions because so many big players gone from a year ago. Avila gone, who was a scoring leader, and no Bejarano and no Kid. And there's not much respect in the offseason for this team, but they're really improving.
Off the Daniels miss on the other end, Smith can't convert. They go to the floor for it, and it'll be a timeout, early timeout taken here by Colorado State. We're going to see a lot of this. Both these teams will get after it on the defensive end, and Larry Eustachy really takes a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, Larry Eustachy, I remember a number of years ago I asked him, how do you get such great rebounding out of your teams? Doesn't matter where you're at. Doesn't matter whether you're at Utah State, Colorado State, Iowa State, down in Mississippi. It doesn't matter. Your teams are always right in the top of the country rebounding. And he said, well, that's because if you don't rebound, you don't play. You sit right next to me on the bench or you're not on the team. And so a very high emphasis on that. And for Tim Duryea, he was the offensive guru for this Utah State offense as an assistant for a number of years. And Utah State, well known for one of the most efficiently run offenses in the country year after year, but also a great focus on defense and rebounding as well. And so, yeah, two teams that are very fundamentally sound, and that's because they have coaches that emphasize the fundamentals.
And this is a Rams team that is dealing with the loss of Gian Clavel. Utah State without David Collette, two guys they expected to be all-conference performers this year. Scott on the drive is tripped up. And that foul is going to be called on Grayson Moore, the fifth-year senior and brother of Jalen Moore. The Moore brothers have done a nice job playing together in conference play. Yeah, and it's one of those deals where you're just kind of defending and you get a trip and the official has to make some kind of a call. It either has to be a travel or a foul, and he calls a foul there. Magbo missing from point-blank range. Smith on the drive baseline for the Aggies, and a blocking foul is called on Joe Decimant. A lot of shots are going to be contested, a lot of people hitting the floor. It could be that kind of a game. Yeah, very physical basketball teams. And, I mentioned right off the start that these are two teams that are perimeter-oriented. I don't mean that they settle for jump shots, though, because both of these coaches emphasize to get those jump shots, they want their teams to attack. They want to cause the defenses to contract and to help, and then they want them to find the open shooter. They don't want guys just dribbling into jump shots or taking quick jump shots. Smith canning a couple free throws. Coach Duryea really pleased with the win against Air Force 79-60. He said good ball movement was important, and also the defense from the point guards. They really locked up the Falcons. Inside pass, it's Daniels, and he takes steps, and the Rams a little bit rattled here in the early going. I like the defensive effort already early here from Utah State. And defense really is about effort. You can bring that game in and game out. Sometimes the shots won't be there. Here's Jalen Moore, who can really break out and be an all-conference performer. They're hoping for that as the season wears on. Shot clock down to 10. Perkins gets a screen from Taylor. Smith for three. And a great start for Utah State, up 5-0. Chris Smith averaging 13.3 points a game. He's shooting it very well. 49% from the field. He's 38% from three this season.
very solid. This is his 48th consecutive start, so he's stability out there. Utah State has some veteran guys in Smith and Moore that can be leaders.
John Gillen for three, and there's the answer from the Rams. He has been clutch down the stretch. Great shooter from the line, not so much from the three-point stripe, but a good one there.
Yeah, he's just at 30% for the season, but he's been playing better and better as the season has progressed. And last year he was the sixth man of the year in Mountain West.
And there's the answer from Chris Smith, off to a good start, and that is a great sign for the Aggies, a guy that was second in the conference in three-point percentage a year ago.
He's got 26 made threes, so he leads this Utah State team in makes from back there behind that three-point line now.
Gillen the miss on the three, Amagbo the offensive rebound. They'll reset things. Here's an offensive rebound, another thing Coach Eustace takes a lot of pride in. High-low, Amagbo to Daniels. Can't get the lay-in. They've missed several at point-blank range.
Good help defense that time. That was Quinn Taylor that came over and helped as Jalen Moore trying to front the offensive player.
Grayson Moore from the corner, bounces off. Smith the offensive rebound. He can't hit one from about 5 feet away. Gillen, quick off the dribble. Scott's gonna attack, and he's fouled on the floor. Right now, the aggressors are the visitors from Logan, Utah. 2 on Grayson Moore.
And that's one thing. Colorado State, as I watch all of their league games, they have been very aggressive. They have worked hard. Larry Eustace commented after that San Jose State win, he said, man, the guys, every one of them looked like they jumped in a swimming pool. They had so much sweat in their jerseys. He goes, that's a sign that they're working on. He's gotten that consistently.
And there's Joe Deciman, who is really shooting it well. #1 in the Mountain West Conference at 42% from three.
This is a really good three-point shooting team, partly because of Deciman.
And there's Jalen Moore with the answer, and both teams now starting to feel it from distance as Moore gets his first points.
When Moore and Smith are both hitting jump shots, Utah State becomes really difficult to defend. They're guys with a lot of length out on the perimeter, Moore at 6'9" and Smith at 6'4".
And there's the answer. Wow. Antoine Scott, he is the scorer, one of the top three-point shooters in the Mountain West.
We said it was going to be more of a perimeter-oriented game, and the team that could knock down shots would win the thing. Well, they're both knocking down shots. That makes it kind of fun.
Smith picked up by Scott. Julian Perry has checked into the game. He's in their sixth man. His jumper from 18, and it banks home. Sometimes the bank's open.
He didn't call bank, and bank's not open on Saturday. He did not call it. He looked as surprised as anyone else, but he'll take it, right?
But Coach Duryea mentioned, hey, if we focus on our defense and rebounding, the shots are going to fall, and sometimes it is a cyclical thing. But right now, they're really starting to feel it. Scott, Gillen for three. That's an air ball.
A great box out by Jalen Moore. You know it's good when a shot goes up, it hits the floor and bounces twice and goes out of bounds, and nobody on the offensive glass can even get a hand on it.
Leading the way, it's been Chris Smith, the senior from Sacramento. Utah State 3 of 4 from distance, and they have the early lead here at Moby Arena. Larry Eustace's team struggling defending the three in the early going. Utah State led by Chris Smith, 8 points, and they have a 4-point lead. Now this is a series that at one point was dominated by Utah State, and right now a 10-game advantage for the Aggies, and the home floor is obviously key in this series.
The Rams have been really good here, 27-13 at home. And it's interesting, in recent years, well, I don't know if the last 10 years are recent years, but this place used to be a place where teams felt like they could come in and win, but Moby has become a great home court environment over this last decade. And Tim Miles did a great job, and Larry Eustace has continued on with that of creating a home court advantage.
Eustace 52-12 here at Moby Arena as a coach. Here's Smith on the inside. That rolls off. Get a good look at it. Out of bounds. Neither team shooting it well from two-point range. They've made the three-point buckets.
Just step back and knock down threes. Right now, Utah State's 3 of 4 from behind that three-point line, and Colorado State is 3 of 5. The Rams inside, they were 0 for 3 inside that line. So
Scott is bumped and fouled by Elston Jones, who's just checked in. A big 6'9", 265-pound sophomore from Goodyear, Arizona. He'll be important to give him another big body down on the blocks. fouls against the Aggies here in the first half. Daniels looking at a zone D here. From the corner, Decimant. Off the mark. Smith the long rebound. And then he's called for the double dribble. Bothered by Gillen, he turns it over.
Yeah, Gillen did a good job knowing that they were out in transition and he had to do something to stop the ball. As he made that swipe, Chris Smith dribbled it with two hands.
Gillen has been such a great leader, junior from Houston, a very young team. He and Scott have been good in the backcourt. And there's a jumper that goes down for Emmanuel Omagbo, the junior from Hyattsville, Maryland.
And Omagbo's another big guy at 6'8" that can step back and has range. Struggled a little bit from three this season, but he definitely has the range to be able to go out there and shoot. He should be better than his percentage. He
got beat defensively there. A little mismatch as Julian Perry takes him to the rim for the bucket. Scott, long three, sizes it up, buries it. Well, they average 9.5 threes per game. That's tops in the Mountain West.
Neither of these teams are shy about shooting. And Julian Perry was right in his face that time. That was a contested three.
Now Perry misses a three on the other end, and Scott the rebound. Chance to take the lead for the Rams. Scott to the baseline. Runner rims out of there. Out front, Jones had it. Decimant goes to the floor, a tie-up. And the possession arrow is going to point the Aggies' way. This has been an entertaining game on both ends. Both teams in a rhythm offensively now.
I think what we're seeing with both the Rams and the Aggies, during the pre-conference season, they're trying to figure out roles and who's going to do what, because a lot of changes for both these teams in the offseason. So we're into conference play now. They're understanding where they're supposed to be, and you see a much more confident group on both sides.
Shane Rector missing underneath. Jones can't get the putback, and Decimant has the loose ball for the Rams. It's tough when you lose a couple all-conference guys, and Collette the center, and Clavel, who maybe was going to be a player of the year candidate. On the move, and Scott lays it in. The Rams are in front.
Antoine Scott on attack.
Scott, a sixth-year senior, and now we have a foul called away from the ball as we're going to have some substitutions now. Utah State's going to bring in Lou Evans, and it's good to see him back out there, cleared to play after he missed the Air Force game with concussion symptoms.
Yeah, and it was a concussion that occurred during practice, and so he had those symptoms. And they could not clear him to play in the last game. He missed that last game. We're glad to have him back.
He's a stretch big man that really struggled in their game in New Mexico, but had 22 against San Diego State. He's going to post up here, and he's fouled by Prentice Nixon, the freshman guard.
9 starts this season for Lou Evans. Had a great game against Utah Valley, a double-double, 15 points and 14 boards. And he's a good interior defender, understands position defense. He leads this team in charges taken. But you're right, he's another big guy at 6'9" that can step out and knock down perimeter shots.
Smith off to a great start in this first half. Into the corner for Quinn Taylor. Rector, the pump fake, the drive, can't convert on it, and the tip up over the backboard out of bounds to Colorado State. Both teams really struggling near the rim, and sometimes you think too much in there when you know you've got some shot blockers in front of you.
When you take it in, you need to focus all your effort on the rim. You gotta eye the prize, and you go in to score. And if you get fouled, that's a bonus. And too many times these guys are going in, and Rector went in that time. It looked like he was trying to get fouled rather than trying to score, and he missed a shot.
Daniels checks out. Kamani Jackson's going to see his first action as Scott drives to the rim and lays it in. Scott, not just a scorer or shooter, he can take it to the rim with that size of 6'2". 3-point lead for Colorado State. Evans posting up, has the mismatch. Backing down Scott to the rim, and he lays it in.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup. Antoine Scott is 6'2", and he's out there trying to cover Evans at 6'9" and 230. That's a matchup problem.
Good fake there by Scott. Jackson straightaway jumper short. Harry the rebound. Aggies a chance to regain the lead now as we near the 11-minute mark. Rector to the rim, and a foul on the floor. And we have a timeout. Both teams shooting it well. Colorado State at 47%. And Scott has 10 to lead the way as Colorado State tries to improve to 8-3 at home. Right now in a battle with the Aggies. Welcome back to Moby Arena. A battle here in the first half. Rams now leading Utah State 18-17. Aggies have made just one of their last 5 field goals. Antoine Scott's been big with 10 points. Chris Smith, 8 points for Utah State. The 2 seniors scoring the basketball, and that's a good sign for both of these offenses.
And the teams, Utah State shooting 43% on the season. They've been averaging 44, so they're close there. Colorado State a little above their average. They're just at 47%. They've been shooting about 44 this season. So we're seeing the offense we thought we would see.
And there's Smith off the inbound with a bucket near the rim. And he's now in double figures with 10, and Utah State back in front. Seesaw affair here, first half from Fort Collins.
You love to see an out-of-bounds play out of a timeout that's executed correctly. They get just the shot they want. They decide they're not going to settle for a jumper and take Smith inside that time.
Couple young freshman guards out there right now, Page and Nixon for the Rams. Here's the senior Richardson, who's been a big boost in the conference season for Colorado State. 5 on the shot clock. The jumper from Page off the mark. Jackson tips it out front, and Page retrieves.
Yeah, these freshman guards, I know Larry Eustachy really likes the future of those guys.
And Deciman sticks the 3. He also likes his veteran. There's his senior, Deciman.
Such a smart player, and not just in the classroom, on the court he's a smart player. 3-time academic all-conference performer too. But his 3rd year as a starter, he's the senior leader out there for Eustachy.
So a couple threes. Evans is double teamed this time on the baseline, and there's a charge. So they make a switch there and double up, and Nixon had good position.
So you see the double team, and you stay with the double team. Nixon does a good job. That's just a smart play. Young player, just a freshman, as Prentice Nixon, and well, he knew right what to do there. Contact with the big guy and takes that charge.
Evans first, 4 team fouls on each club now as it's a 2-point game near the midway point first half. Page, an impact freshman. Nixon's kind of been an energy guy for the Rams. And there's some bumping and a foul called, and this is going to be on Evans, and that's number 2 on him.
You mentioned Page and Nixon. Really, really good freshman guards, and they've gotten a lot more playing time as of late, and they're going to get more as the season continues on. He's really relying on it. Page, a local, Rangeview High School in Aurora, Colorado, 2-time All-Colorado, and then Prentice Nixon, 3-time All-State player in Illinois.
And there's a long 3 from Nixon, and he misses badly with that one into the hands of Smith. Evans taking a seat with 2 personals. Jalen Moore back on the floor with the basketball over to Smith. His 3, back iron. Long rebound, though. Rector feeds the redshirt freshman Taylor for the bucket, and we're tied at 21.
Shane Rector's always on attack. He's a great penetrator. That's what he does. He gets the rebound. Instead of just shooting a jump shot, he attacks, causes the defense to rotate, and gets a wide open teammate down low for a bucket.
Taylor's been a great utility guy. He's played the 3, the 4, and the 5. Had good minutes in their game in New Mexico.
The Aggies come back down. They've been mixing up a little bit of zone and man. They're in zone this time.
Shot clock's at 5. Page is going to make his move amongst the trees, and he is tied up. The possession arrow will stay with Colorado State.
Colorado State's it's a good shooting basketball team, so you can't play a steady diet of zone, but I like how Utah State's mixing it. They're going back and forth. That's just keeping this young Colorado State offense a little bit off balance.
Rector got his hands in there on that one. 2 on the shot clock. Richardson with 1, fires it up. Rector the rebound, and then a foul call. Jackson coming down on Rector, picks up the personal foul. He's a little bit shaken up as he walks it off. Here's a kid that was the starter at point. He's played some, coming off the bench now with Perkins taking over that role now as you see the team foul situation.
Rector, he's adapted. He'll do whatever they ask him to do. You want me to start, I'll start. You want me to come off the bench, I'll come off the bench. He's been just really effective. He started 9 games this season, 53 assists and 20 steals. He leads the team in both those categories. Great quickness and always on attack.
Nixon getting a breather as Colorado State has hit one of their last 5 now, and there's team foul number 6.
And Grayson Moore trying to cut to the basket, got grabbed. They make the call on the outside. And the officials have been very consistent this season and their efforts to make sure that offensive players have freedom of movement on the perimeter. You know, they're calling the hand checks, they're calling the holding and all that outside. It's been a point of emphasis. And for the most part, the players have adjusted.
Well, and we're not talking about it as much, which is a good sign. Here's Taylor on the inside, tries to go to the reverse, blocked by Daniels, out of bounds, off of the Aggies. Teal Daniels, the 5th-year senior, has been physical, and he's the leader in blocks.
Yeah, and he's got great timing, good hand-eye, he's a presence inside defensively at 6'7".
Under 9 minutes to go first half. It's been nip and tuck here in the first half so far. In the corner.
Utah State stays in that zone, Trey, and until I think Colorado State can knock down some perimeter jumpers, they'll be comfortable in that.
Page Short barely drew iron with that one from 3. Here's Moore in transition with the left hand, lays it in. Moore saw the defender with his back turned. He took advantage of it.
And I think he picked up his dribble about a step earlier than he wanted to, because I'm not sure he knew he could finish at the rim, but he covered a lot of ground with those 2 steps. Man, that was big.
Aggies back in front. Important game in the Mountain West. 2 teams that hope to be contenders. This is could be quite the road win for Utah State. Gillen, Richardson. Good ball movement. 3 on the way. Short for Scott. And Grayson Moore has it as he outduels his brother for that one.
In that zone, Utah State, a really good job that time of staying in front of the basketball, not allowing any seams in that zone for the Rams to attack.
Both teams are going to go to the bench here next opportunity. Long 3 from Rector. In and out. Daniels has it for the Rams. Scott in transition. Gillen. Up and under. Misses the lay-in. And Taylor the rebound.
Boy, great move to get that open.
Rector can't convert. Smith finally does. And the Aggies lead by 4.
Good follow by Smith. Yeah, Gillen on the other end, he made this fantastic move, and then it's just like he short-armed it going up. He almost was surprised he found himself that open at the rim.
The Rams are 1 for their last 8, and Utah State has won the battle of the boards in this one. They're +6 in that category.
And I said just a little bit ago, Utah State probably can't play a steady diet of zone, but Colorado State's not making shots right now. It's working. They're staying in the zone until Colorado State can force them out of it.
So Utah State fresh off a win over Air Force at home, looking good on the road at Colorado State. Aggies lead by 4. The Aggies have the lead here at Colorado State by 4 points as we near the 7-minute mark at Moby Arena. Leading the way, Chris Smith with 12 points. It's his 13th game in double figures this season.
Yeah, he's been playing very confidently on the offensive end, and so difficult to defend because he's big and strong, and he can attack you off the dribble, and so if you play off him, he'll knock down shots. He's also been real active on the glass, doing a good job with 4 boards, 2 of them on the offensive end.
Well, you know, the Rams take so much pride in all the blue-collar stats, but Utah State winning points in the paint 12-4. They're winning the rebounding battle by 6. They're really the aggressive team here in the first half.
You see Smith's line, 12 points. He's 4 of 8. Been really, really solid. And I like that he's got two offensive boards, 4 rebounds.
And Blaine, here's that zone again. They're sticking in it.
They're going to stay in it until Colorado State can prove that they're going to be able to shoot over the top of it or attack it and get into the perimeter. And there you go.
Good dish. Scott to Daniels for the flush.
Great job that time. And the penetration is what had been missing. They had not been able to crack a seam in that zone. This time, they move the ball, they get an opening and attack.
That's a foul on the floor on Julian Perry's drive. And that's team foul number 7 on the Rams. Here's a look at the Daniels finish.
And it's all set up because Antoine Scott's able to get into the interior of that defense and force that defense to rotate. When people start to come help, there's going to be an open guy. You know, if it's the right open guy, it ends up being a 2-hand throwdown.
25-23. Sometimes as a player, it helps you to see the zone from the bench. And I'm sure Coach Stacey talked about what they needed to do there.
Why are you not doing this? Why are you not attacking? Move the basketball. You get that defense moving. And once you get them going from side to side, there should be opportunities to attack and get into the interior.
Julian Perry's been a solid performer off the bench, their top perimeter defender, and he gets a couple free throws to get the lead back to 4. Entertaining first half here, seesaw battle. The Aggies with a bit of an advantage, and it's because of the cold shooting from the outside from Colorado State. Scott launches the long 3, knocks it down. You're not going to keep him quiet for long. He's had some big games, including 24 at Boise State.
42% from out there beyond that three-point line. That was a deep 3, and I love that he attacks the last time and gets an assist. This time he comes down and knocks down a big shot.
13 for Scott to lead the Rams. Perkins picked up defensively by Gillen. Here's Taylor working against Daniels. Perry tries the 3, buries it. How about the distance
that
shooting
was way out
teams?
there, right in front of us. But Perry was sitting out there with his shoulders square in a shooting position, waiting for that ball to come from inside out. And he had that thing measured for 30 seconds, ready to roll.
Now Mogbo almost throws it away as Grayson Moore stepped in front of that pass intended for Deciman. 4 of 8 shooting from 3 from Utah State, 6 of 13 for the Rams. And we asked the question in the open, will the shots fall? They have.
Yeah, on both ends of them, there's been some big shots. Colorado State with a little bit of a drought up until Scott just made that 3 from the outside, and Utah State's going to stay in that zone. So okay, let's see if that's. They've broken it down the last 2 times down. Scott on an attack with a dunk, and then in a deep 3. Utah State's saying we're still not believing. We're going to stay in this thing until you show us you can consistently attack this defense.
Foul on Perkins as Scott was the cutter and Daniels fed him in the lane, and that's team foul number 6 on Utah State. The next foul, they're in the bonus. Gillen into the backcourt to Scott. Both these teams with 10 wins, trying to stay in the upper half of the Mountain West Conference. It's a very competitive league this year. Scott, a bouncer over to Gillen. Shot clock under 10 for Deciman. Amagbo, and there's team foul number 7 as Perry called for the reach in. First on Perry. So now free throws become an issue in the first half, and this is a good free throw shooting team. Colorado State 74% on the year. Amagbo 79. Jones comes in for Taylor.
Emmanuel Amagbo, a JC transfer. A number of transfers getting it done for Larry Stacey this year. He was a second-team National Junior College All-American down at South Plains College.
3-point game, 5 minutes to go in the first half. Perry drives baseline. Good ball rotation. Moore for 3. Short. Gillen out in front. No trailer, they'll reset. Gillen inside the arc, knocks it down.
That's something Larry Stacey brings a smile to his face. A deep 3, contested, gives a ball fake, doesn't settle for that 3, takes it in and knocks down the 2.
Smith will settle for the 3 and knock it down. Thank you very much.
That was there's some deep 3s in this ball game. That was another one that was NBA range.
Smith's over his average already with 15. He's hit 5 of 9 from the field, 3 triples. Leave Amagbo alone. He'll drive it. Hook shot. Daniels. And 1. Six, 7, 234.
They get Elston Jones with a foul, saying that instead of staying vertical with his hands, he put a roof over the top of the offensive player. You see it so much. Guys just can't stay disciplined. They're in a good position. They're down there. They want to contest it. They go straight up, and they just have to take those arms and slightly put him over the top of the offensive player, creating contact.
See Daniels' numbers there. He's also improved from the free throw line, 75% in Mountain West games. Can't convert there. Out of bounds. It'll go the other way. 2-point game, 4:01 to go, and Tim Duryea really had concerns about this club after their loss to Boise State and then an 18-point loss to New Mexico. But they're playing much better basketball since then, and there's the three that goes down for Jalen Moore, and they extend their lead.
And these two big perimeter players, Smith and Moore, they have beautiful fundamentals on those jump shots. You watch it and go, yeah, that's a pretty looking shot.
Plus he's got the hair 4 years in the making to go with it.
And then, you know, Jalen Moore's 6'9". What is he with hair? He's got to be 7 feet tall.
Richardson out to Gillen, under 10 in that shot clock. High screen for him. Leans in, off balance shot, short tip by Amagbo, and he's fouled. And the Rams starting to be a little bit more active on the glass. Timeout. 3:17 to go, first half. Colorado State has hit 6 threes, but their inside play is starting to pick up. Daniels and Amagbo active. They're down 5. Good first half for Tim Duryea and Utah State, leading it by 5 points. First season at the helm after 14 years as an assistant under Stu Morrill. Sometimes it takes some time to put your stamp on the program, but he knows success. They average 24 wins a year, 6 NCAAs as an assistant, and now head coach, and starting to develop his own style.
You know, I talked to Tim at length at the Mountain West preseason meetings, and I said, what will be different than what it's been in the past? And he goes, well, he says, not a lot, because Stu and I have been together a long time. He goes, you'll probably see us play a little more up-tempo than under Stu, but outside of that, still going to be fundamentally sound defense, great rebounding, effort required, and an offense that he's been running anyhow, but a little more up-tempo is all we'll see.
Well, it's not strictly man-to-man defensively. Their zone has been really good. Here's Moore, and that bounces off. Smith is there for the offensive rebound. He's done everything they've wanted from him in the first half. As he crashes the glass there, he'll head to the free throw line, fouled by Nixon.
For Chris Smith, that's his 3rd offensive board in the ball game. 5th board, 3 of those on the offensive end. He's got 15 points now, 3 of 4 from 3.
He's had some big games this year against good competition. 13 at Duke. He had 12, 8, and 4 assists against San Diego State. Stepping up in a big environment here on the road.
He's a big, strong guy that's really athletic.
And they have their biggest lead now at 7.
Yeah, he'd be a phenomenal wide receiver. 6'4", 210, great hands, really agile. I'd love to throw it to him.
Flanker, split end, slot,
yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
That's what NFL wide receivers look like now, right? Like that guy.
That's right. Here's Nixon for 3. Freshman can't convert, and Evans did a good job tipping it to Jalen Moore. Evans going to drive it on Daniels. Not there. Instead, it's Jalen Moore. Scott is fouled by Smith as he hits the glass. So with 2:32 to go, they'll go to the other end.
And that's the first personal foul on Chris Smith, which is amazing considering how aggressive he has been on the offensive glass in this one. For him to just have one is a good thing for Tim Duryea.
Scott has been the bright spot for the Rams, 13 points. He's hit 3 of 4 from 3, and he cashes in on the free throw line.
For Antoine Scott, he played in the first 4 games last year before re-injuring the foot he had hurt as a junior at Grambling before his transfer. Grambling, before his injury, had played 25 games and was averaging 15.7 points and 4.5 rebounds as a junior. So they were really hoping to have him last year, but now as a redshirt senior, I'm sure Larry Stacey's going, you know what? With Avila gone and Bajareno and Kidd, maybe it's a good thing I've got Antoine Scott back this season.
Pursuing a graduate degree here, and there's the shot by Jalen Moore that doesn't go. Out of bounds. It's going to be Utah State basketball, much to the dismay of Larry Eustachy over there. little more, and they're going to change the call here. It's going to be Rams basketball. He has been a little bit more reserved this year, and I think, the injury to, I know that's saying a lot, but
he's chill. He's chill compared to his old self.
The Gene Clavel injury, he really likes this bunch and the way they've responded to his coaching, but he got his call the way he wanted it there.
He realizes it's a young bag. There's a lot of young pieces on this team, and he can't quite get into them without hurting confidence. And Larry's been at it a long, long time. He knows when to get after it and when to be chill, and we see him. His dynamic change a little bit depending on what he's got.
And here's a big foul right here, Blaine. That's Lou Evans picking up the personal. That's his third, and Daniels at the free throw line. Knocks down the free throw. He's improved his stroke from the stripe thanks to a little bit of a change, moving a little bit to the right to shoot the free throw. That left foot right on the free throw stripe, and he's 75% in conference games, 60% for the year.
Well, for Utah State, it'll be really important for Quinn Taylor to play solid here in the last couple minutes. The redshirt freshman now in for Evans. Evans is a big part of Utah State's rebounding effort, averaging 6 rebounds a game and almost 10 points.
He's hoping to keep the lead heading to halftime. Here's Rector, the freshman, over to Jalen Moore. Moore on the cut, lays it in. Man, he is so smooth with that finger roll.
And you cannot lose your focus in that backcourt. Rector looks like he baits Colorado State, looks down the court like he's going to turn and run, and as soon as they inbound it, he steals the inbound pass.
What a play. 21 steals. He leads them in that category. Caught him napping there. 6-point game.
They underestimated his sneakiness right there.
Gillen thought about the long three. Scott's going to drive it. Three is short. Great play by Richardson to keep it alive off the miss. Richardson again. Not there, and a collision underneath. And it's called on the Rams. Jalen Moore colliding with Richardson. Also Daniels was down there.
Richardson, he missed that first shot, and he knew it was short. Good shooters always know when it's short. So he tracked it and was able to track it down. Then he got another shot from the opposite corner, and that one was short.
And then you get the foul, and you put the Yankees on the free throw line on the other end. So not a good sequence for the Rams. And Moore, a 70% free throw shooter.
And Moore averaging 15.3 points a game, but in conference play, so these last four outings, he's up that. He's averaging over 17 a game, nearly 18 a game. And really, we knew he was going to be the leader coming into the season. Everybody knew that's the guy that they go to. He and Smith, a combination of that. But he's stepping up and living up to what the expectations for him are this season.
It's the front end of the 1-and-1. Can't get the second to go, but it's the biggest lead in the half now for the Aggies at 9 with under a minute to go. They have been focused. The shots are falling. Their defense has been sensational as they've played mostly zone here. Scott for three. And they needed that one, and they get it from the right wing.
Well, and that's the guy. If you're going to go-to guy to knock down threes, he's shooting them as well as anybody in the country right now. 42% this season.
Timeout, Utah State. 17 for Scott, 17 for Smith.
Well, and when you're playing zone, there's two guys primarily for the Rams that you have to know where they are on the perimeter when you're in that zone. You have to mark them and say, okay, I'm going to fold back in on the weak side of the zone, away from the ball, but I know that guy's out there. So I got to cheat out just a little bit, and I've got to be really ready to react and close. And that's Antoine Scott's number one, numero uno, and he had an open one there. And the other one is Deciman. If Joe Deciman is out there, you have to know where 1 and 10 are at all times in that zone.
The top three-point shooting team in the Mountain West, they average 9.5 per game, and they shoot it at 37%. Deciman's going to get a breather here in the final minute. This has been a very impressive half for the Aggies. Maybe their best basketball this season in a tough environment, playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and they're shooting it so well. They're getting good shots. You know, I think maybe that Air Force game was a breakout game in terms of ball movement and executing the offense for Tim Duryea, because their execution has been excellent in this ball game. They're shooting 50% from the field on the road. That's really good.
7-second difference, game shot and shot clock here. 5 on the clock and a reach-in foul. That's a giveaway there. Gillen fouling Smith, and he puts him on the line. It's the last thing you want if you're the Rams. 2 shots for Smith.
Chris Smith this season, a 69% free throw shooter. Well, he's such a weapon. We watched him knock down threes in this ball game. Last season, he was so good from out there. Honorable mention all Mountain West. Shot 47.4% from three-point line last year. 5th highest ever for a single season in Utah State history. There's been some really good shooters at Utah State over the years.
Pushes the lead back to 8. Grayson Moore will come in. Smith will go to the bench. What a half for him with 19 and 5 rebounds.
Yeah, the big two have been big for Utah State in this first half. Chris Smith and Jalen Moore, they're junior and senior leaders.
Gillen into the corner. Richardson thought about the 3. Now he'll pull up baseline jumper, and it rims in there. So a bit of a boost for Colorado State going to the halftime locker room, but it was Utah State's half, shooting 49%, and they're up 6.
I was really impressed with the execution offensively. And you know that zone? They stayed in it a lot longer than I thought they would, because they played it effectively and were able to cut off Colorado State at every angle.
Smith with 19 to lead the way as he buries 3 3-pointers. Scott has 17, but the Aggies lead it at the break.